Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of The Prodigy. Last episode, Côté bounced back from a mediocre international performance with some cracking league showings. And although he didn't meet all of his targets, he delivered where it counted in the goal department, getting 6 goals when he was only asked to score 2. So that is a monumental showing for the young Frenchman. And in this next game against Clermont, he is looking to keep that form going and once again get called up to the French national squad and show really what he is about. He hasn't been the player that he has been in League 2 in those performances, but he is ready to show Didier Deschamps that he can be the goal scorer that he desperately needs. And early on in the game, Côté is looking like a threat. He gets the ball on the edge of the area, but is tripped up and immediately takes the free kick, puts that one on frame, but Auxerre are unable to take advantage of that rebound. And then Clermont go on the attack. This cross finds the head of Armand, but he fires that one narrowly wide. And then Côté, trying to impress with some skill, loses the ball in the midfield, and Armand is through on goal. He fires that one into the bottom corner in the 33rd minute, and Clermont go ahead, and sadly, that was the only action of the entire game. Côté getting a 5.9 match rating. An absolutely abysmal showing from the young Frenchman. His mistake giving away the only goal of the game, and that is not the way to show yourself as an international hopeful. But hopefully Deschamps sees that as just a mistake telling of Côté's age and picks him anyway. But as the roster comes out for the next set of international friendlies, Côté's name is not in the forwards list, and he is absolutely gutted by that decision. But he is determined to show the manager that he made a mistake in that selection, and he should pick him to be back in the international fold. And in this next game against Le Havre, he is ready to show that he can score goals, he can make the difference for his team, and he is ready to be called back up into the national team. But in the back of his mind, he doubts himself and wonders, am I good enough to play with these players that are competing in the best leagues in the world, the Premier League, La Liga, League One? And as he's through on goal, he takes a shot, just panicking at the last moment, not getting that goal that his team so desperately needs. He is struggling for confidence right now, but then he gets it back, doing what he does best, goes back to what he knows, and gets that goal right before the stroke of halftime, giving his team the narrow advantage going into the half. And the second half was one of few chances, but this one, a long-range effort from Côté, stings the hands of the goalkeeper, and that is how this game will end. That solitary Côté goal being the difference between the two teams, and 3 points well earned by the young Frenchman. But yet his match rating is only a 6.9. He has not been the world beater that he was earlier on in the season, and he needs to recapture that kind of form if he is willing to drag his team into promotion and once again reclaim his spot in that French national squad. And looking at the table, Nantes are level on points with Auxerre, and so we really need to increase our goal difference if we want to pull away from the team right underneath us and solidify that first place spot in the league. But Caen were not going to make that easy for us, and they carve out a very good chance early in the game. In the second minute, the goalkeeper does very well to keep that one out, and our defense scrambles to keep that out of our area, and danger is averted. And then we spurn that golden chance to go ahead, that header going slightly over the bar. But then Côté gets this ball played to him and plays a perfectly weighted cross to Oliek, but Oliek heads that wide. How did he miss that? But Côté was not willing to give up then and has a long-range shot kept by the keeper, an easy stop to be honest. But in the second half, Auxerre were ready to go ahead, but that perfect finish would just not present itself, and the best chance of the second half was carved out by Caen. They would slip a ball behind us, but Soren does extremely well to keep that one out of the back of the net, and that is how this game would end 0-0, all tied up in a 6.2 match rating for Côté. He really needs to pick it up and get out of this funk that he finds himself in. He needs to rediscover that form he had earlier on in the season and keep on banging in the goals for Auxerre. They need him desperately. When he is not scoring goals and not playing well, the entire team does not play well. And with Nantes chomping at our heel, we need the old Côté back. So the manager just sits him down and says, I know you have something going on in your head right now, something psychological, but you just need to put that behind you and start playing like yourself. and Côté took that to heart, and when he got out on the pitch, he knew that he needed to stop trying to impress people, stop trying to get on the national squad, and just start playing like he did when he was a kid on the streets of Paris. And doing that, he puts the ball into the back of the net in the 5th minute, and he knows that he is now back on track to start banging in the goals once again, and shortly afterwards, another chance comes. Segbefia plays a nice backheel to Côté, and Côté drives inside and has a shot with his right foot, and that one just dips into the net. In the 30th minute, he has his 2nd goal of the game, and right from kickoff, Arles make a grave mistake. They get too close to Côté, and Monconduit plays this beautiful ball over to Oliek. Oliek drives towards the goal, passes it back to Côté, fakes out the goalie, and that one finds the back of the net in the 32nd minute. A hat trick for Côté. He is back in the game. He is back to his old self, and we go into halftime ahead 3-0 against Arles, and the second half would show no respite for Arles. Côté once again tormenting them, skipping past 2 defenders, but his cross just does not have enough English to get past the defender, and the chance goes wanting. But his next shot would bounce off Manjek, and Segbefia would have his shot go narrowly wide. Arles would try to get back into the game with a nice through ball, but that would go wanting and go wide. And that is how this game would end, Côté's 3 goals being the difference. All 3 points for Auxerre, and we are back on track. A 9.6 match rating for Côté. He had an absolutely storming game against Arles, and the manager and the press are all praising him, and it is duly deserved. He met all of his goals for this set of games, and it is looking like the old Côté is back, the 75-rated 18-year-old striker from France, and he is one of the rising stars of the game right now. But the press brings us some troubling news. Monconduit, who has been one of the integral parts of our revival lately, is being sold by the club. He's been put on the transfer list, and I really, for the life of me, cannot figure out why. He's been a huge part of our midfield. He's a good passer, and he can also get his head on the ball from corners. So why he is being sold is just ridiculous. I can't believe it. And Côté is also quite upset. It's one of his good friends at the club, and he also creates a lot of chances for the young forward. And so in this next game, he has a lot on his mind, but he'll try to put it aside and score goals nonetheless. And Monconduit puts this wonderful ball to Chetri over the top, and then Oliek is there to finish the chance and put us ahead in the 19th minute. A great goal from the forward. This next chance begins with a great ball from Marco Ramos to Côté. Côté cuts inside, has a shot, but their goalkeeper does well to tip that one onto the bar, and the chance goes wanting. It was then Chateaureau's chance to go on the attack, and Allard would put this one into the back of the net. The defense really should have done much better there, and we were level in the 35th minute. That goal shook Auxerre out of their stupor, and Chetri tries to float this one in. The goalkeeper palms it away, and then Manjek was there to put it into the back of the net. A great rebound goal in the 40th minute, and we were once again ahead going into halftime 2-1 against Chateaureau, but Chateaureau were not done there. They would go back on the attack after the restart, and only some great goalkeeping from Soren would keep that one out of the back of the net. But they would go on the attack once again, and a wonderful through ball would find Guerrero, who puts that one into the back of the net in the 66th minute, and we were level, unfortunately. But Auxerre would have a chance to win this in the dying embers of the game, and Monconduit, the man who is being sold, would get his head onto that cross and pound that one into the back of the net in the last gasp of the game, and we would get all 3 points from Chateaureau with a scoreline of 3-2, but only a 6.3 match rating for Côté. He still isn't playing to the level that he was earlier on in the season, even though he did score those 3 goals in the game before. He really needs to get his head back into the game and shake off this thing that is keeping him from reaching the heights that he had before. Maybe he's upset about Monconduit leaving. Maybe it's something else. We'll just have to see in the next few episodes. Alright guys, that'll be it for this episode. A like or a subscription is always appreciated. Let's try to get this one to 30 likes. I saw the last one got 25, so let's try to reach some new heights. Alright guys, I will see you next episode, and I hope you have a great day. Alright guys, bye.